The world's wildest rivers, oceans and lakes are home to some extraordinary fish. 8 anglers embark on a global adventure.
I have no idea what I'm going to be up against.
In which they'll endure snow, storms and sweltering heat. Which will test everything they think they know about fishing.
Is that the clutch and the accelerator? I'm not quite sure.
On all kinds of water, they'll brave some of the toughest places to fish on Earth.
It's days like this that make you realise the true love of fishing.
Hoping to reach the next leg of the expedition.
I think my 100% record is going to disappear today.
They'll be watched by international expert Matt Hayes and some of the best fishermen from around the world, who'll judge who stays on to the next location.
All you got to do is keep persevering.
Last time, the anglers went in search of some of the fastest fish in the world, stalking the ghosts of the salt flats.
Probably the hardest fighting fish I've ever felt in my life.
And pitting their strength against the mighty tarpon.
I am so scared.
That has made my day.
Ripon and Phil were both in danger of being cast out.
Man alive.
Gone again. But Phil became the second angler to leave the expedition.
No worries.
This time, it's their most brutal adventure yet.
The heat is an absolute killer.
I feel faint.
As the remaining 6 brave the ferocious currents
This is really dangerous. It's like a washing machine.
in Southeast Asia. A remote wilderness between Vietnam and Thailand. Laos. The only landlocked country in Southeast Asia, made up of mountains, forest, and the Mekong River, which provides an essential lifeline for transportation, irrigation, and fishing. Life here depends on it.
I think some of the anglers will be completely out of their depth because this is not a sport fishing destination. It's uncharted with rod and line. There's a lot of local fishing. What we don't know is how effective our Western rod and line techniques are going to be.
Fishing here is a way of life, and no one knows that better than Matt's co-judge, head man of Ban Hang Kong Fishing Village, Mr. Mai.
ทุกๆคนเพียงอายุ10-15 ปีขึ้นไปถือว่าเป็นคนหาปลาเป็นหมดอยู่ในเขตร้อน
Finally got to Laos. It's been a good couple of days of travelling. I mean, it's just spectacular. Unbelievable.
Okay, on, guys.
Okay. Okay. You'll love it.
This is the hottest time of the year in Laos. Winds from the Indian Ocean are due to bring heavy rainfall any day, bringing relief from the blistering heat.
There you go. Check that out.
Wow. This is just the most incredible place I think I've ever been. We've got this amazing sun and it's hot. Really dripping hot.
The rainy season means the river water will rise, triggering an enormous migration of fish.
I'm absolutely buzzing. I can't wait. I think that we're going to catch some interesting fish.
But as the anglers arrive in Laos, the much needed rains have not.
Here we go.
Welcome to the mighty Mekong River. This is one of the richest fishing cultures in the world. As you've gathered, it's quite hot here. It's actually only 34 degrees, but it's 80% humidity. This week's all about discovery. Joining Matt, we have our local expert, Mr. Mai.
วิธีการหาปลานี่มันว่าถือว่าชาวบ้านนี่บ่แม่นหาปลาแบบเป็นกีฬา
There are a lot of fish here, but to catch them, you're going to be using some special equipment, local equipment, and I'm talking here about bamboo poles. Now, they come in different lengths and thicknesses, so you're going to have to make decisions about which pole suits your fishing style the best, and also the water that you're fishing in.
The angler who catches the most species of fish is the winner. You all have 3 hours. Go fish.
Fantastic, thank you.
It's going to be quite good fun, I reckon. It's mental out here today.
This part of southern Laos is known as the 4,000 Islands. The Con Falls are the widest rapids in the world, forming one of the most productive but intimidating rivers on the planet.
Let's see what the bait is, shall we? Oh, that smells nice.
You wonder what the smell was?
Stinky.
Liver, beetles.
So 3 different lengths of rod.
As well as bamboo poles, the anglers have different sizes of weights, hooks, lines and floats to choose from.
Yeah, it's pretty old school. I quite like it. I'm quite looking forward to it, actually.
Essentially it's a bamboo pole and a piece of line, so how different is each of their setups likely to look?
There are so many small intricacies in how they can use their equipment with these poles. Don't forget, the longer the pole they try and handle, the heavier it's going to be. They also need to think about the length of line from the tip of the pole to whatever they're tying on the end.
Bait fishing uses a piece of food to attract the fish. A weight takes the bait to the right depth, and sometimes a float is added to indicate a bite. In a strong current, a heavy weight must be used, and the line cast well upstream so the bait hits the desired spot once it's been carried to the bottom.
This is really about the anglers drawing on their pure fishing experiences and pure fishing skills. This is the stuff that fishermen are made of, really.
I'm setting up 2 rods here. I've got a slightly finer one with a float on, so I can fish at various different depths in the slower water. And I'm also setting up one to get a bait down nice and deep and hold it in the current if needs be.
I'm going to go and see what I can do here with these bad boys.
Good luck, guys. Good luck.
Tight lines.
Tight lines. Good luck, Jake. Go carefully on those rocks.
What kind of fish live in the Mekong around here?
ตัวประเภทเป็นปลาใหญ่อยู่ในเขตนี้นี่แม่นว่ามันสิมีปลาแข
How do you think they're going to get on here?
You've seen the rapids out there and the conflicting currents that the river creates. Your ability to read the water and imagine what's happening underneath is absolutely key to being a good river fisherman. This is going to be a huge mental challenge.
I'm not sure if this is going to work particularly well with the current being quite as strong as it is here.
In this voyage of discovery, the anglers will have to constantly change their tackle to discover what works for the different fish, as well as read the current to find where the fish are.
This looks like a really good spot. There's a bit of a back eddy. The rig I've got is just plain simple line all the way through with a split shot. And all that does, it holds the lead. If I need to move it, I just move the split shot up, stops the weight touching the bait. It's the simplest of rigs you can use, but the locals here, you know what I mean, they're not going to use anything fancy. So I'll just use exactly what the locals use.
So you just chuck that into the water and hopefully let the water do its business with that.
Why did you pick this specific spot here?
Well, there's a little inlet here. It's quite quick out there. I'm just going on the off chance that there might be a few fish just milling about.
It strikes me today, this is about as basic a fishing as you're going to get.
You speak to anyone, I guarantee you when they were a kid, they started with this method. You know, so it's basically back to being a kid again.
This might be fishing in its most primal form, but Dan is used to traditional techniques.
Coracle fishing is an old traditional way of fishing. I can trace my family back 200 years. Coracles were mentioned back in the times of Julius Caesar, or a very similar craft. So if we go somewhere where there is a traditional way of fishing, then I'm hoping that I will understand that a little bit better than other competitors will understand.
We use a little bit of a cocktail. So these grasshoppers or crickets and a bit of meat.
The Mekong is home to several species of catfish. These fish feed at the bottom of the murky river and, with very poor eyesight, rely heavily on scent. So the way the anglers use their bait is crucial.
I'm using a piece of heart, which is probably quite an attractive bait to many of the catfish species. It's the scent that attracts the fish. At the moment, seeing as it's somewhere totally alien to us, somewhere where we've never fished before, you know, you've got to try and bring the changes to see what's going to work on the day.
Oh, Rip, is that your bait?
Watch out, there's a few crickets on his way to you. Thank you, mate.
You got them all?
Yeah, cheers, bud.
Back in the UK, Ripon is used to offering his local fish a free meal.
I almost feel like I have to take care of them in a way, because even out of season, I still go there and I like to give them a bit of dinner. Even though I'm not going to catch them, I like to see they're doing okay.
I decided to not take position on the rocks, decided to come here, because it just looks a hell of a lot more fishier. There's fish here. Oh, got bites. Yeah! I lost it, basically. It slipped out my hands.
An hour into the fishing time, and only Ripon has had a bite.
The heat is an absolute killer.
The weather is taking its toll on both the fish and the fishermen.
Just the heat and the rocks, it's not the easiest place to walk. It's so tiring.
It is definitely as hot as it looks. I'm not going to lie, it's brutal, but hey, we're going to win this competition, we're going to take it all on the chin, aren't we?
So, Mr. Mai, you've been watching all of our anglers. What have you noticed so far?
หนึ่งมาเดือนนานโต๊ะป่านี่ถือว่านั่นเขาตกอยู่ในโพดเขาตกอยู่ในโพดมันอยู่วางน้ำพื้นมันบ่อยู่วางน้ำเลิกเป็นตะลูนี่มันต้องใส่แบบเบ็ดคุมแต่ว่าเขาได้ยาหมากเบ็ดนี่หมากเบ็ดเนาะนี่ก็ภูมิมันซ้ำนี้เดี๋ยวเขาจะใส่เสื้อเงาโยนออกเมื่อเนาะ
I think it's too fast there to float, so I'm using bottom one, but this time I've gone for a bit of distance.
All I've done is I put another hook on to double my chances. So I'm using a small one for the smaller fish and the mid-sized one for the sort of like bigger fish. There's a fish there. All you're waiting for is a little bite. You'll actually feel the rods are quite sensitive. Oh! That definitely felt like a bite.
This is a pretty extreme weather to be fishing in, isn't it?
Yeah, everyone is really struggling to catch. It's so bright and sunny, the fish are getting spooked away from the poles, so they need to use a longer line so that it doesn't scare the fish, but there's a limit to what you can do. So they've really met their match in that respect.
To avoid casting a shadow in the shallow water, Dan has abandoned his pole altogether.
I'm holding on to the line because I get better feeling through the line of what's going on at the bottom than I would just holding on to that. I've got a fish. Start fish, I think. I said my 100% record is still intact. I've caught a fish in every challenge.
I'm glad someone's caught something. It means we're going to catch something else today. I've caught the bottom.
Emma is also using a hand line to see how far out she can get her bait.
Not very far.
Emma, are you mumbling to yourself?
I always mumble to myself, I'm afraid.
Have you had any bites yet?
No.
Nothing?
I think the only way I got lucky in the last 2 rounds was because there were lovely fly fishing tasks. You know, the rest of the guys are way more experienced in a sort of wider variety of fishing than me.
Is that a bite?
I don't know. Lovely. Really good.
Emma is far more at home with a fly rod and shares that passion with her sons, Jake and Harry.
My children think me absolutely mad as a brush, but here I am, 53, and I never thought I'd get a chance to do something quite as daft as having a fishing adventure in some unknown place. I will do my utmost to win it, and I can feel the boys cheering me on.
She is surprisingly good. She's very good. Mum going fishing around the world is just something else. I mean, I am very proud of that. Very proud of that. Yeah, absolutely.
The bigger species of fish can withstand the stronger currents, but without the rains, few big fish have arrived, so Sam has a different tactic.
Much desperate measures now. I've tied on the smallest hook on the lightest line, a tiny thin slither of steak. There's some tiny little fish in the edge here. It's a species challenge. If I can notch up a couple of species, I'll be glad.
Moving away from the fierce current allows Sam to put some of his experience from home into practice.
What I'm doing is I'm putting the float into the water, the bait's suspended beneath it, and you let it run with the current, and that's known as trotting the stream. But obviously I've only got a limited amount of line being fixed to the end of the pole, so I can only trot it so far. That was a bite there.
Dan is now using a 20-pound line to target some of the mightiest species of the Mekong catfish.
We've got a fish. It's a little bit bigger than the last one. That's 2 fish for the day.
Fish. There we go. Okay, so my little tactic works. I'm actually off the mark. Tiny little fish, but it's a species.
Obviously that fish instinct that I've got is working well again.
But Joe, Emma and James
Oh, damn it.
are not faring so well.
It's taken my bait. I had 2 bits of bait on. Now I just got a hook.
Halfway through the day's fishing and the remote location, basic equipment and searing heat are making this the most difficult leg of the expedition yet.
Oh, jeez, I'm absolutely wilting here. Oh, jeez, I feel faint.
You forget about the heat when you're fishing and you get dehydrated. If you're dehydrated, you make the wrong decisions and you're not thinking straight.
And it finally becomes too much for Emma. Just go slowly. How's it? Are you feeling lightheaded?
No, feeling absolutely fantastic.
Well, okay, I'm just going to...
No, Ruby, I'm so good, I'm so sorry.
Please stop saying you're sorry. So poor Emma, she's with our medic Paddy now.
The weather has taken such a toll on everyone and on the fishing, really. They've tried some good things, but it's a really savagely hot day, and to be honest, I think we should call it off.
So how will that affect your judging though? You're seeing about an hour and a half of fishing for each of them. That's not a tremendous amount of time, is it?
No, it's not. But I have been able to observe the rigs that they set up, how they approached the water, how they handled the pole. Those who kind of erred on the side of caution and went for small fish. Other people took a gamble, used heavier line and went for bigger fish. So I'm not completely bereft of information.
Okay, anglers, the judges are calling an end early. Come and get some shade.
Tough one today, huh?
I thought you'd have melted by now.
It's been a really difficult day for everybody. The heat's been almost unbearable at times. We'll have to see what happens when we go to judge it.
Nothing. How was Emma? Okay. She's doing fine. She was in a bad way.
Seems a bit better. Hey, Rip.
Hey, man. Hey, mate.
You good?
man.
Guys, probably not the first day's fishing experience you were expecting today. I'm sorry that we had to call it early.
It turned into really debilitating conditions. incredibly hot, really, really humid, and of course we did have someone fell victim to it. So I basically felt we had to call it. Unfortunate, but that's how it is.
Mr. Mai, is there anything that they could have done differently?
แต่บางเรื่องควรสิเฮ็ดให้ได้ดีกว่านี้มีแต่ว่าให้เฮ็ดสายยาวเฮ็ดสายหมากเบ็ดยาวๆเพื่อจะลงใส่คุ้มน้ำเลิก
There were fish out there. We could see some of them hitting the surface sometimes.
Well, as we know, Sam, you caught one.
Did indeed.
Ripon, you lost one. Matt's counting it as caught.
Thank you, Matt.
Dan, you caught two. Technically, you're the three winners if we're going for species, and the judges have decided unanimously. Dan, you are the winner of today's task. Well done. Well done.
Danny Two Fish does it again.
Dan, your prize for winning today's competition is to choose the team tomorrow, and hopefully we'll have Emma back with us. It's been a hard one. As the punishing sun sets on the Mekong, the exhausted anglers can finally start to recover and enjoy what the local restaurants have to offer.
Oh, there's a massive spider on that chair, so yeah, put that to one side.
Quite a day, people.
Cheers, everyone.
Well done. Booyaka. I don't think I've ever sweat so much in my entire life. It's just been pouring out of me all day long. Definitely the hottest conditions I've ever been in.
It's really different from back home. Climate, environment. It's testing. It certainly puts you through a good test.
Oh, today's tough, eh?
Really hard.
Yeah. Let's just hope Emma goes home has a nice sleep tonight. She's all right in the morning. Yeah.
What's your favourite type of fly then, Dan?
Mine?
Yeah.
Dead one.
A dead one.
After an incredibly difficult first day of fishing in this remote region of Laos, the anglers head almost 10 kilometres south to the very bottom of the Con Falls, a completely different environment. This deep, calm water forms the border with Cambodia and is home to small catfish and carp. The local people rely on them as a vital source of protein, and they're not the only ones. This stretch of the Mekong is home to the rare Irrawaddy dolphin, who depend on the abundance of fish here. Conservationists and local fishermen are working together to protect the remaining population. So whilst the dolphins live in the deeper waters, the anglers will be in teams, learning another traditional technique in the shallows. Welcome ashore, everyone. Today, you're going to be using cast nets. Standing on the front of one of the local boats, you'll have to get your balance and create the perfect circle. And believe me, it's a lot harder than the locals make it look. Mr. Mai, can you give them a short demonstration of how to throw the net?
Just like that.
Easy.
Yeah. Although Mr. Mai makes this look really simple, it's probably technically as difficult as fly fishing. Not only to prepare the net for the throw, but also the technique.
We're sadly missing Emma, who's hopefully going to recover for the third part of this expedition. Right, Dan, you won yesterday's challenge, so you get to choose your team.
First team member is Ripon. He said that he'd been helping Bangladesh and thrown a few nets a couple of times, so I think he'd be a great asset to the site. My second choice is Sam. His knowledge of all types of fishing is going to be a great asset.
That leaves James and Joe as the second team. Good luck, everyone. Go fish. But before they can get on the water,
Good luck, guys.
they'll have to get to grips with this traditional technique.
It's alright, we'll be acing this.
How did he do it? Any ideas? Pretty alien.
The net is thrown over a shoal of fish in the shallow water. It should open in a circle and sink to the bottom, trapping the fish underneath it. The string is slowly pulled, gathering the weights on the edge and bringing the small fish up inside it.
If you look at the net, actually, it's kind of held across the shoulder, and it looks a little bit like a dashing cape, some sort of pantomime villain or something. But the actual action of throwing it is very important.
Great. Sam's the first one to catch today, isn't he? Yeah, put myself.
Can you give me a demonstration? Bravo! Very nice.
Hey!
You had high expectations for our fishermen.
Did I?
Well, he's much more optimistic about their chances than I am.
Right, I'm going to get a bit more hip action.
Oh, we bugged.
You know, the most common mistake is it all lands in a heap, you know, like a bunch of knitting, and it doesn't catch anything. So I expect some of that to be going on. The balance thing is going to be a major, major issue, I think.
Presumably this is where Dan is really going to come into his own.
Well, he's been going on, just give me a net, just give me a net. We've given him one. So let's see how he gets on.
Oh, I just can't get that.
Come on, Coracle Man, you can do it.
Actually look like they're struggling. They're probably doing better than us, to be honest. Joe, that's great.
I was thinking strength might be a factor, but I don't think you actually have to hull it that hard. I think it's just got to be smooth and accurate.
Oh, he's holding on with the left a bit more. Right.
Getting there. Tension, releasing it at the right time, the right speed. It's just so much to think about at the same time. Joe's getting there. She's nearly done it. Mr. Mike, the man we need. Nearly got you.
Wow.
Got it, boys. Should we do another shot in the boats?
Let's do it, mate. This should be fun.
Hello, James.
Good luck. Somebody.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Whoop.
This time of year is crucial for the local people. When the rains arrive, the river rises dramatically, and fish migrate here from as far away as Vietnam and the South China Sea, making this the perfect spot for the villagers to catch them. Let's hope they catch more fish than they did in their first part of the expedition.
Yeah, I mean, really, they're after quite small fish. When they were practicing on the beach, there were differences between them, but it was good.
Can we, what was further out again?
Haina.
Just a bit further.
Mastering this technique on the shore is one thing, but to catch enough for their dinner in the next 2 hours, they'll need another skill. Balance.
"17 stone trying to balance, it's like having a hippo trying to do a high wire."
He taught them how to throw the net, but he didn't teach them how to balance. That's the problem.
It's really hard, isn't it?
No, it's like a carry-on film. I'm loving it.
The balancing, I could do better, but it's just because I'm so top-heavy. It's really good fun, though. Kind of brings me back to my childhood. Dad used to take us out with throw nets. Like, we used to have a lot smaller ones than these, but they're still great fun because you don't know what you're going to get.
I mean, coracle's unstable and this thing is just mental.
You leave that one.
Scaring off my fish, guys.
Jo makes it her job not to scare the animals in her role as a veterinary nurse in Suffolk.
I don't see many fish down at the veterinary practice. I just think they're just fascinating. There's so many different types of fish, and some of them are just beautiful. I like to see the fish up close, to actually look at it and see the colours for myself, because you see them in books, but it never really does them justice. Hey! Oh! Yes! One fish!
We're off the mark. Trying to keep your balance is a nightmare. And your technique right, so you're thinking of everything at the same time. Yes! Get in!
Yes! So I'm trying to feel that it's hitting the bottom and not retrieving it until I'm pretty sure it's down. And then pulling it up really slowly. Bringing it up too fast, they'll escape. Hey! That's one.
As a team, Joe and James are starting to catch.
I'm happy with the way it's going at the minute. I don't know how the other guys are getting on.
Sam, Ripon and Dan
Oh, goodness. What are you doing?
are determined to make a splash.
Ripple's spending more time in the drink than he is. When I've done it before, I've mainly done it from the land. So I'm just going to have a go while I'm in it. Didn't work as good, did it? I've been in once, and I don't want to go in again.
Sam is the all-rounder of the group, but his experience hasn't prepared him for this.
I guess I was probably 6 or 7 years old when I first started fishing on lakes and rivers and a little bit of sea fishing, and since then my interest has grown to just about every aspect and discipline. The experience that I've had landing myself in a foreign destination and having to work everything out from the ground up, I think that's going to give me an edge, and the fact that many times when I've been travelling we've had to catch to eat, so it's a case of sink or swim in many respects.
I think I've caught 13 now.
Oh, I'm catching you.
Oh yeah?
Yeah.
Good job.
I think it's 9 or 10.
It's pretty wobbly, this, actually, I have to say. Takes a fair amount of balance. I'm not going to fall in just to make our anglers feel happy about themselves. Preparation is all about the preparation. This, and we go, catch us. Oh, that's quite close. I think they're catching all the fish, that's the problem. With only an hour left to catch enough for their dinner, the anglers' competitive streak is finally coming out.
Getting tiring, isn't it? How many are you up to now? No comment.
They're catching fish over there, we're not catching anything here.
Dan's team might not be catching, but at least now they're staying on their feet. Whilst in the shallows, Joe and James are catching more than they bargained for.
Oh, God. Oh, no.
If you throw the net over deep water, all the fish will shoot out underneath before you can actually catch them. So you've got to try and target them in relatively shallow water. The other thing that they need to look out for are snags on the bottom.
Oh, no. Look. My net got caught on the bottom and I've got a massive rip in it. It's like huge, so if I do get overfished, that's just going to be an exit hole for them.
So whilst Joe heads back to shore for an emergency pit stop, James is left to keep their team afloat.
Joe's caught more than me at the minute, so we need it back ASAP. Fish! Well, my 100% record, as you can see, is still intact. It's only a small one, but it's a good one. Got a fish in the net.
Finally, the boys are making a comeback.
Lovely jubbly.
Yes! Got another one. Excellent. Oh, yes. Oh, 2 at once.
With time running out, and Dan's team rapidly catching up, Jo rejoins her team.
Good to have you back.
But not for long.
We're going down here. I've got a pretty major leak in the boat. It's floatable enough to finish the challenge, I reckon. At least the water's warm.
I'm going to rip that. It kept getting caught in my button every cast.
I thought you were turning into the Hulk there and just bursting out your tongue.
Good in a minute. Kept getting caught in my button. And I must have ruined about 5 or 6 casts with it, so I just ripped it straight off. Right.
In the last few minutes, every cast counts.
Yes!
Yeah, that's good, huh? Oh, look at that. Got a nice little silver collection there. Yeah, I've caught more fish than I've fallen in, so that's a good stat.
Yes!
Yes!
Okay, anglers, time up! Come and get dry.
try, Sang. Good try.
The winning team will be decided by dividing the number of fish caught by the number of team members.
Well, we've done alright, boys. It's a bunch of novices.
What a difference a day makes. Not only have 5 of you actually made it through the whole day, you have smiles on your faces. I'm sure even out on the water you could hear Mr. Mai's laughter.
เพราะว่าหาเพิ่นหมกแขนหัวของมันไปเถอะสิมันว่างตรงโอ้โห
Ripon, would you like to reveal the contents of your basket?
15.
Dan,
17.
Sam,
We've got 12 in there.
Joe,
I got 22.
James, can we see how many fish you caught?
It's 14 for the day.
So the winning team with an average of 18 fish per head is James and Joe. But of course we also want to have one overall winner today, and that winner is Joe. Well done, Joe.
Thank you very much.
You were the first person today to be throwing a really nice loop or circle.
Thanks, Matt.
Very good. Well done. Well done. Mr. Mai invites the anglers back to his village on Ban Hankong Island, where he's the head man or mayor, to prepare their catch with his family. They cook in the traditional way, in the cooler air under the stilted houses which line the Mekong riverbanks.
She's got that done with tea.
That's lovely and fresh. Good wash out.
Did you see the space of them?
Look
What they did here?
Maybe we'll be fishing for something like that tonight.
Hopefully, mate.
Dinner is served.
That's very good here. This is up here.
Here it is.
This is my...
Thank you very much.
Right guys, let's raise a toast to Emma. Here's to her joining us again tomorrow. You noticed it.
Oh my word. That is rocket fuel. Ooh.
After a week of grueling mental and physical challenges, the angler's final test looms ahead in the very heart of the falls. For the final part of their expedition, our anglers are going to have to use all their fishing knowledge to fish here in the white water of Con Falls. The local people here depend on the river to survive, trying ever more daring ways to reach the best fishing areas. They have over 30 unique methods for harvesting the river, including bamboo traps that will catch the schools of migrating fish once the river rises.
Hot this morning, really humid. The rains are a couple of weeks late. They've worked it out on average over the last 20 years. The rains have been here by now. But they can control everything bar Mother Nature.
The anglers will be fishing on the remote island of Don Papeng, and even getting there is a challenge for them.
And I'm so glad to be back. The last 2 days have been a write-off, and I'm going to have to really pull something fairly major out of the hat to stay in the competition.
This is a bit of an epic backdrop, mate. I've never ever fished anything like this in my life. It's ridiculous.
Having spent time fishing the local artisan ways, the anglers must now use their own knowledge and Western sport fishing equipment to discover what lies beneath the fierce currents of the Con Falls. Rods in hand, all 6 fishermen triumphantly walk out of the forest. This is the final part of your discovery expedition. For this stage, you're going to have to combine all your fishing know-how with everything you've learnt this week. You're going to have a choice of 4 different rods, and you're going to be fishing here in the white water of Con Falls. The angler who brings in the biggest fish wins. You ready for it?
Yeah.
Go fish.
Thank you.
I'm not sure your coracle's a good idea here, Dan.
No, mate. It would be quite a special achievement to stay in it here.
The anglers have 10 hours to fish the heart of the falls. They've been given 4 different sport fishing rods, and Matt will expect them to use all their experience from home and apply it to this monster river. They've got lots of different decisions that they can make today. What do you think they should be going for?
They've got a fly rod set up. That's not likely to deliver the biggest fish, but it could deliver a fish or two. They've got various spinning equipment, light and heavy. But my money is on ledgering a bait near the bottom, and I think I would go big because we're after some of these bigger catfish and carp that we know live in the water.
Ledgering covers a range of techniques and rigs that use a lead weight. A traditional ledger weight is shaped to cut down through a strong current so that it reaches the bottom. This can help the cast go further and keep the bait still in rough or fast-flowing water. People don't sport fish here.
You're right, and actually that's quite an exciting thought. This place, the potential is absolutely huge. Actually having our modern lines, stronger weights and everything else, it might just give our anglers an advantage that the local guys don't have.
In this journey of discovery, to uncover what lives in these murky depths, innovation will be key.
Water's moving through a bit too quick to use the flies or the lure tackle, so gonna stick a big bit of smelly bait on and try for a catfish. I'm gonna use these stones I've tied up. I've put a little swivel on the top to use for weight to keep it down in the current. That's my first prong anyway, give the bait a try. I mean, it's going to be pretty tricky to fish any other way here.
If nothing smells that must be crazy. If that doesn't catch anything, I don't know what will.
All of the anglers have chosen to start with bait fishing, each hoping to target one of the larger species of carp or catfish that this river is famous for.
This river is littered with different catfish species. The biggest species is the Mekong catfish, which I believe can grow to 200-300 pounds.
The water's really fast here, so I've opted for stones to keep on the bottom. It's just a straightforward ledgering system, just this proper hillbilly fishing, I'll call it.
The key is keeping your bait on the bottom. First challenge, the little catfish I caught were right on the bottom, tagged in, so if the little ones are down there, the big one's going to be down there as well.
As the flow comes down the waterfall, as it slows down, it kind of circles round in here, so I'm hoping, if anything, they're going to be waiting in this eddy here.
I got a bite there now.
That was a bite. There was a few knocks there.
And I just had a little bite.
Do you know, I'm going to see what it is. Okay.
I got something.
Got stuck on the bottom.
Something sharp down there.
Yeah.
Oh,
You joking me?
It was bound to happen here, mate. This place will be festooned with snags.
Yeah, lost it all. It's a shame. I like that rig. I thought it was a fish, but I think it's just where the current's just taking it. Even stones as big as that aren't holding the bottom.
None of the anglers have ever faced water like this. But there are principles from home they can apply to read this river.
You might be thinking, well, how on earth can I fish in such powerful water? But you know, river currents are strange things, and alongside every strong current there's usually a slightly weaker one, and if you look at where the anglers are fishing, you'll notice that on the inside there is much steadier water. The area the fast current meets the steady we call a crease. Certainly Ripon will be very familiar with the potential of creases for catching fish.
This is what I'm good at. This is what I'm used to. The gear's a bit stepped up, it's a bit different, but it's the same principles.
I thought I'd come and try here. You've got the fast currents, you've got a back eddy which I'll be fishing, and you've got a flow there, so the fish will be out in the fast current and just probably sitting here. This is really dangerous. Crazy. It's like a washing machine.
As they wait, with still no sign of the promised rains and the temperature at almost 40 degrees.
Just having a little cool off.
Emma takes some time out in the shade.
My silly hands started shaking at my knees. I've obviously got this silly heat stroke thing, and it's not going to go away too easily.
Few people have ever fished here with modern fishing tackle, and after 3 hours, the anglers are still coming up empty-handed. For the first time, James is struggling to catch, and he's feeling the pressure.
Any fish will do today. It's going to be hard. This is really hard to fish in.
So why aren't they catching any fish right now?
If the rains had come and the migrating fish had come in, then we'd be dealing with a lot more fish. But it's the resident fish that's the problem. The stocks have been depleted.
Do you think the locals still have the upper hand because of their knowledge?
Of course they have. They're fishing with traps, they're fishing with nets, and they know this water like the back of the hand. We're on a journey of discovery. Now, it may well be that this is the first seed that starts off an interest in sport fishing, and if it does and it grows and it's nurtured, maybe one day by having a thriving sport fishing industry and more protection for the fish, the local people will be better off because they've got more money to spend and everybody's happy. Maybe.
Can I tell you the one thing I think they need before sport fishing takes off here?
Go on.
Fish.
Come to my second spot and I'm going to have a smaller hook, just to see whether I can whittle something out.
And Dan's not the only one changing tack.
I'm now just going to chuck out a weight and a hook. That's what I saw a local guy using just down there. It was fairly simple little setup, and I'm going to try it on my rod to start with. If I'm having no joy with that, I might switch to hand lining.
Having caught the least fish cast netting, Sam is trying everything to catch something.
So I try spinning. I've used spinners on various rivers like this in the past, and it has snagged me the occasional fish. Not usually the biggest, but you've got to try. So I'll give it a few goes. There's nothing going, and I'm going to go back to the bait. Keep bringing the changes today.
Rip-On is aiming to double his chances.
So what I'm doing is just setting up another rod. This one's going to go in the middle. I'm just going to roll the bait along the bottom, hopefully.
I suppose this is what we call extreme course fishing.
Really, it's extreme. As in, it's like, you fall this way, you're going to hurt yourself quite bad. You fall this way, you could potentially die.
But look, we've seen look, there's a guy over there. It's obviously worth the risk. The fish are here, aren't there?
The fish are here, it's just getting to them.
I can tell you're frustrated, though.
Yeah, it's just annoying. It's the current. If someone could just...
Shall I just go and switch it off?
If you could...
Having had half their time in the blazing heat already, and with no bites to show for it,
Nothing happening. Where's the fish?
it's time to pull out all the stops. I am the bearer of fish food. Everyone's got the same amount. You want a mixture of fish, sweet corn, and rice. Good luck.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'm just baiting up at the moment.
And with new bait comes new options. Dan, James and Sam are using swim feeders.
2 empty capsules. All we do is take the caps off, stuff the fish in, cast that in, that sits on the bottom, so there's lots of extra smell in the water. And the idea is the fish follow the scent trail up to where the feeder is, and then there's 2 hooks with bait on it, so they've got a choice of 2 morsels to eat. That's for the bigger fish on the bottom, and that's for the slightly smaller fish just off the bottom.
Rip-On is also using his initiative.
We do have swim feeders, but the rice is too sticky. It's just not going to flow out. So I'm going back to basics. I'm just wrapping the rice around the lead. I'm going to bury that in there. So hopefully when they're in there, they're rummaging around. I'll break it up and then they'll see something different. Hopefully that'll be a fish. This is mainly a carp tactic.
So lovely to be fishing again. I've got completely different kit to the others. I've got a really lightweight piece of kit on, a little jelly wobbler.
Watch it, you'll get the biggest fish of the day, Emma.
How glad am I to see you today.
Well, so am I. Oh no.
You caught the bottom again because you caught Iceland.
Every time I talk to you, I catch the bottom.
Look at this man here, though. I mean, you see what lengths they go to catch fish.
I think, he was pulling on a line, so he must have a huge net. I thought he was going to bring out something enormous. Well, that sounds right bad, but you know what I mean?
Grab a bit of bait and drop back in just down here. Drop it in quiet water.
Still no fish caught, and the anglers are using every trick in the book.
Down the bank, just about every option we have is being tried at the moment. So if I keep my eyes on them and I see something starts to work, I can make a change.
Just going round through my head, mate, different options. There's a little pond up there, I've seen little tiny fish in.
I've been fishing in the main currents and no one's caught anything. This is just a complete different change. It's like one extreme to the other. The water's a lot slower. There's a nice calm bit here, but the fish will be lying in this fast water. This is really, really lightweight fly rod. This is what I'm at home with. Even if they're that big, one fish that big could win the day. I think the locals are a little bit shocked with what I'm doing. He's like, what the hell's going on here? I think that's totally spoiled the fishing now.
The local people have used the same simple methods for hundreds of years, and they're completely outfishing the high-tech Brits.
It looks like a bream/carp, really. Hey, catch all my fish, man. Have a look. Unless I've got a net, I ain't gonna catch anything. I haven't seen a single person use a rod. Snap me rod. It's a new type of rod. It's called the right angle. And let's say fish it like that. And there you go. Don't even need to pack it up. Bam.
Just 30 minutes left.
Oh, hit the rock.
I've seen a couple of fish splash, but I think the majority of them with the sun will be a little bit deeper. All you got to do is keep persevering. Joe, can you get a few bites?
I'm just tying another hook on the line here. The way things have been going today, anything's worth a shot.
There's tiny little fish here. I think they're probably the baby carp. There's so many of them. Only I had a net. I'm going to get one, you know. I'm trying to catch them with my cap.
Nice to see Emma out again today. What have you noticed amongst the 6 fishermen?
Well, they are definitely trying different tactics. Emma, I've noticed maybe her mind's not quite on it. She's using very lightweight stuff. If you look at Sam on the end there...
He's fishing with a boulder.
Yeah, well, this is the cauldron, isn't it? He's on the ends where the current is at its strongest. He's using a rock this big to hold bottom. That's not a bad thing to do. Rip-on's actually done quite a smart thing. He's got some rice and he's moulded it around his ledger weight. And he will have adapted that technique from something that we do at home. Dan whacked a bait across to the far side where there's a big slack pool, and I really like the look of it. He's trying the right things.
Everything's against us. I think we've just got to take it on the chin that the fish are not feeding at the moment.
A few of us in danger of going out today. You know, I caught a fish in the first round, didn't do so good in the local challenge, and today no one's caught anything. Yeah, there's a few of us, I think, that are got a bit knock-kneed.
It's been really hard today. Everyone's tried absolutely everything. Pressure's on now.
We've tried fishing lures, fishing flies, nothing in the water, down deep, fishing meat baits, fishing fish baits, fishing corn, fishing rice, using swim feeders. I mean, we really have tried just about absolutely everything, and it's been pretty fruitless.
You might move my fish trap.
Oh, something was nibbling.
I don't know, I'm kind of running out of things to do, but I think what I'm doing isn't the wrong way of going about it, so just got to hold on, really.
Tried a deep dive in lure, that's the only things left in the box I haven't tried. I'm not giving up. You never know.
I think my 100% record is going to disappear today.
Okay, your time is up. Bad luck, guys.
Oh dear, 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 dear.
Yeah, what can you do? I think this is the first challenge since the beginning where there hasn't been one fish caught. I think everyone's tried hard today and the fish aren't biting, you can't catch them, so...
I am concerned that I think that the judges may think that I wasn't taking it seriously enough. I haven't had my competitive head on, perhaps, to the extent that I should have done.
In the battle of man versus fish, for the first time in our global adventure, the fish have won. And the anglers must face Matt and Mr. Mai empty-handed. Well done, guys. That was a hard, hot few days of fishing. Obviously this is an expedition of discovery, and you didn't discover very much. Ripon, I think you've got you've caught something else there. You've got a...
Where is him? Yeah.
A stick insect there.
There it is.
There we go. You've caught something, guys. Well done.
You know, you really did, between you, go through the full deck of cards, I think. You tried ledgering on the bottom. You tried spin fishing in its different forms. You tried all kinds of rigs. You tried using stones instead of ledger weights. Small hooks, small baits, big baits. And unfortunately, no one came up with the answers.
Obviously, the aim of this task was to catch the biggest fish. There were no fish. On that note, the judges have to go away and discuss how you performed over the last week and decide which one of you is going home. We'll see you all shortly. Mr. Mai, Matt, that's a tough few days out there. Obviously very different skills on each day, requiring different techniques. How do you think Ripon got on?
I thought this might be more in his court, this venue. It's fresh water, which he's used to, and fishing for quite a lot of bottom feeding species, which is what he tends to fish for at home. So, not great, probably scraped through.
บัดไปยืนเนี่ยนอนนะครับเอาพวกดินน้ายเอาก็มองแย่นะแบบว่าหัวหนิ่มเงียบตะลุกโต๊ะน้ำเรื่อยๆผู้นั้นกับโต๊ะเดือดโต๊ะน้ำโต๊ะเดือดโต๊ะน้ำนี่ถือว่ารับที่สองหมดนะ
On to Joe, the only one of our anglers not to go into the water in the cast netting.
Throw netting is a real skill. She threw that net beautifully time and time again. It just played into her hands. It was really nice fishing.
And now on to Dan.
Can't take it away from him. He got that bamboo rod. He caught 2 catfish. They were proper fish. A reasonable performance again from Dan.
And what about Emma? I mean, that's a really hard decision. She did fish most of the first day and then had today.
The anglers know that this is going to be a challenge. And they also know that at times they'll be tested. For Emma, this was one of those times. She was very bad with heat exhaustion. I did see enough, I think, on the first day, and then today I think she was intimidated by the river. She reverted to fishing the small side stream. I thought she spent too long at it. It was all a little bit too safe.
What did you think about Sam?
บ้านแฮถือว่าเฮ็ดบ่ได้ดีปานใดซ้ำแต่ก็ได้อยู่ป่าแต่ว่าได้น้อยกว่าหมู่
I think Sam is at his best when he's got clear in his mind what he needs to do. And I think there were points in this when he realised that actually he wasn't going to just kind of breeze through it.
Moving on to James.
He was great in the cast netting. I think he struggled with the pole fishing, and I think he also struggled with the rod and line fishing to quite a large degree actually.
So who's safe?
I think Joe's the most cast iron this time around. Dan probably, but the rest...
thank you, anglers, for throwing yourself into this week, and in most cases, into the Mekong. The judges have analysed everything from technique to catch, all the information they could glean this week. And they've decided that the person going home is Emma. I'm so sorry, Emma. We have loved your enthusiasm.
Good innings, girl.
Oh dear. Really sad not to be carrying on. Just has been such fun and met some amazing people and tried to get my head around some quite extraordinary fishing.
Emma brings so much to the group. She's the way she brings everyone up. That smile she's got, she's going to be a massive miss.
I think I just keep getting bad luck, really. It just keeps following me around. Hopefully it changes next week.
Costa Rica! I always wanted to go to Costa Rica.
Next time, the anglers are bowled over by the local way of fishing and get to meet the rock stars of the ocean.